You're listening to the Convene Connections podcast with your host, Matthew Curry.
And good evening, everybody. Hey, I am so excited to be here tonight with these amazing men. Hey, if you're watching, get ready because it's gonna be a powerful show. This is we've been sitting around, we've been talking, they've been sharing some of their stories with me, and what we're getting ready to talk about in the next little bit is really good. So the impact of influence. That's what this is about. That's the name of the show, the impact of influence. And so we got to start with the man, Chip Baker. How are you tonight, Chip?
I'm doing great. First, thanks so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to be on your platform. We truly appreciate it. Love what you guys do, and thankful for getting us on, ready and excited for it.
That's right. So how you gentlemen doing tonight? Y'all ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Doing great.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, right? Chip, let's start with you. Have you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and then we got to get into what is the impact of influence? Where did this come from? You know, what was the idea behind this book? So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So myself, I'm just an ordinary guy working real hard to do some extraordinary things, right? And so I learned a couple things a long time ago in my life that, one, it ain't about me, and two, that I'm blessed to be a blessing. So within that is how I operate. And so, I'm a fourth generation educator, teacher, coach, former coach. It's my 22nd year in education. I've been blessed and fortunate to be raised by some great people, as well as be around some awesome folks to learn from in my career. And all I know is giving a life of service. You know, my family's church folk and educators. That's a folk with no S. Man. So it's for real. Yeah. You know, we was in church from can till can't, right? Yeah. And so TP know that life. But just, man, in my life, I've strived to do things to give back and give service and just be the best version of myself so that I can be the best version of myself for others. Absolutely. And for me, that's what it's all about. And as far as the book, The Impact of Influence, I have the YouTube channel, Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles. I interview people from all walks of life, share their stories, positive inspiration and motivation. And I've been doing that a little over 4 years. Been blessed to come across some great people. All of those guys, are guys from the book. But, the idea came to me, I have a friend that does like some publishing stuff with a company. He's like, man, you come across some great people. You ever thought about, putting some of those people together and, making a compilation book or something? I was like,
a good idea.
That is a really good idea. Yeah, man, that's a good idea. And so, reached out to my dudes, my guys, and, pretty much most of them, they didn't even let me finish with the text or the call. They was like, yes, let's go.
That's awesome.
Right? Let's get it. And so that brings us to where we are today. And really the impact of influence is 17 powerful men that impact others in an amazing way. And really we're just telling, a story, our stories of a person or something that has influenced us, impacted us in our life. What we've learned from it, and then how we're using that to make a positive difference in our world.
Yeah. All right. So let me tell you what I love about this, right? Convene. The word means come together. Let's come together, right? Being communities, let's come together in communities. I believe that we all have a story. We already talked about that. Real life, real people, real experiences, right? We learn through experience. We learn through our stories. And what you're doing, you and I are doing the same things. We're bringing people together that have amazing stories that can tell that story to lift others up. And that's what it's all about, right? And I think we're doing it in the same way, and I love it. I love it because that's what this is all about. So I talked about a little bit earlier when I was introducing yourselves, right? And I was saying, hey, this is who I am. I got a degree in Christian counseling. And then I found somebody who's got more degrees than me on the call, right? Let's hear about it.
Highly educated.
Yeah, highly educated. So let's hear about these degrees.
Yeah, a lot of lived experiences, and so the degrees that Matthew was talking about, I have a bachelor's degree in messing up. I have a master's degree in making excuses, and I have a PhD in not being responsible for my actions. And so I think that all of those lived experiences earn me the right to be able to speak to people about not letting their past determine their future, which is the title of my chapter in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, well, tell us a little bit more about it. Like where did all this, all these degrees come from? Where did all this experience come from?
Well, I'm a former professional athlete, so I played Division I college basketball, and during my 4-year stint at Ball State University, I was only able to play one full season. I found a way to mess up. I said I got a bachelor's in messing up, so I found a way to mess up 3 out of those 4 years, and I only played one full season. And probably the biggest mistake that I made, which changed the entire trajectory of my career, was my senior year in college. I was 27th in the nation in scoring, and I punched my teammate. I was in the NCAA news on December 15th and December 19th through frustration. I grew up in an era where you didn't tell people what was going on with you. You kind of kept that stuff inside because people would use it against you and take advantage of you. And so I kept a year or 4 years worth of frustration inside, and it all came out in this practice, and I punched my teammate. And I ended up getting kicked off the team. Here it is. You work so hard to get out of the hood and get to college and create an opportunity for yourself. And then now you get there and you have it. I said on the podcast previously that we all have a plan or a strategy to get somewhere. The problem is we don't have a plan for when the plan works. And so I got there and I didn't know what to do. I was the first to go to college. And so I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have anybody to talk to kind of walk me through that. And I dropped the ball. Thankful for my community. They fought for me. They got me back in school. And you would have thought that I made that mistake, that I would have learned my lesson. But I told you I got a bunch of degrees. And so I got a PhD. And less than 60 days later, I was in the gym playing a pickup game, and I punched somebody again. It was a little bit different now. This is a regular student. Before it was my teammate, not to diminish, that was wrong, but I punched a regular student, and this time I got charges pressed against me, and I did what any young kid would do. I ran, and I quit school. So I left, and I left without finishing my degree. So I'm a 3-time college dropout. Now, college graduate. After 24 years of running and getting and being in my own way, I went back to school and I received my degree July 21st, 2018. And so I feel like I have a responsibility to talk to people about, we all make mistakes, but don't let your mistakes or don't let what you do define who you are. And I think that that's what I talk about in the book. And I think that it'll be a message for a lot of people to be able to lift their head. I was held captive for 20 years by what I did, and I freed myself by saying, you know what I did is not who I am. Yeah. Here I am, I'm Mr. Me Too.
Yeah, so you got 4 degrees, right? You got
yes, sir.
You got
I forgot about that. That's right, I do.
Yeah, that's right. You got 3 degrees from the University of Life, and then you got that came from Eugene. We said you got life degrees. So that's awesome.
Write that down. Thank you.
That's right. I love that. Hey, Charles, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're right along there. You played sports too, and now you're just making a huge impact in a bunch of youth lives. So tell us about that.
All right, I'm Charles Woods, man. I'm a first generation educator. Kind of fell into that spot. It's nothing that I, went to school for. I do have 2 degrees, but one is in industrial technology and the other one is in engineering and technology management. It was, hard when I came out of school to find something. Contacted my old football coach, who was a principal at a high school, and he was always pushing me to get into education. And like, that's nothing I want to do. I don't want to teach anybody's kids. Don't want to coach anybody's kids. I've seen how I've played with kids. Like I said, I've been a college athlete. I've seen some of the things that the coaches go through. That's nothing that I want to do. But he did put me in a defensive room. I didn't even interview for the job. I was dressed to impress, like Chip Baker always comes.
Yeah.
But I didn't go into an interview, man. Like I said, he pushed me in the defensive meeting room and said, "Hey, we'll find your coaching field. I mean, your teaching field later." And it just took 1 year. Took me 1 year, man. I got to sit there and coach young men and got to teach young men and young women in the classroom. I taught special education at that time. I was in resource classes, so I just taught some students who were just had a rough time getting it together. But when putting things in place for those young scholars, they did succeed. So
Yeah.
it took that 1 year, man. I loved it, man. Like Chip said, a servant leader is what I considered myself from that point to this point now, where I'm a intermediate campus principal, 6th to 8th graders. I get to impact the lives of young scholars every day, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy waking up in the morning and going to work and getting to impact those young scholars' lives as well as adults as well too. We don't never stop learning as adults, so I'm learning from these guys. I learn from my teachers, from my counselors, from parents in the community. We just continuously learn every day. So, um, I just love what I do, man. I love impacting lives. This is right on board with myself, man. Love making a difference.
Yeah, I often say if you don't love what you do, guess what you need to do?
Do
You need
something
to go
different.
find something else.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go
Yes,
find
sir.
something else. If you don't love it, I look forward
Mhm.
each and every day that I get up, because I get to do the same thing. I get to interact and meet people like you. Hey, Derek, let's hear a little bit about you.
Well, first of all, Matthew, thank you for having us. To my brothers, and this is my family. These fellows I travel with, everybody can be measured by the gang that you surround yourselves in. And mine is all love. I'm a coach. I'm a radio host. Done television all over the country. But what I do better than anything else is love. I like to say that I'm not a coach. I'm not a mentor. I love. That's what I do. That's what I show up for. That's what the young people that come to us for. And when we leave the field of battle, whatever we're coaching, then the people in our lives come to us for love.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Your partner, your significant other. Anytime your phone rings and there's a text, it's because somebody thought of you and they were in search of love from you specifically. So it's always an honor. It's always a pleasure. I told you before, I'm a miracle. 27 blood clots after spinal fusion surgery. And the folks in Texas, y'all know the Woodlands. I was living in the Woodlands when it happened. I had 16 minutes, and I got there 12, and the doctor diagnosed me and said, well, we've never seen anybody beat this. One blood clot post-surgery will take you. I had 27. I had 3 in my heart, 4 in my lungs. I had a saddle embolism that let those clots in and then wrapped itself around my bronchial stem to choke me out. And I used to say, because of the life I've lived, that I've lived 100 lives. So if God took me today, I'd be okay. But on that day, the conversation changed. And my statement was, give me one more day. And they tell you those blood clots can get you overnight in your sleep. So there were months where I didn't want to go to sleep because I was afraid I wouldn't get my one more day. But in that conversation, I said, give me one more day and I will love everybody. I will love everybody. I will do well and well. And it's not like I was an awful human, but that was a special calling and a moment. And that was a redirection for me.
Yeah.
That was a redirection. Now I've learned that the GPS has to be set. That when I engage anybody, we cross paths. One, I'm supposed to meet you in love. I'm supposed to meet you with love. I'm supposed to meet you for love. And then whatever we're supposed to do, it's supposed to be love when we get done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in between, it's love first, love last, and in between, love more. And the way to do that is simple. That we all we know people that have this great regret. That they did not let the people who they loved the most know that they loved them. And you had players and students and co-workers that you care for that did not get the message. So I say this to anybody that can see this. The next time you're bored and you pick up your phone, love out loud. Find somebody to tell them that they matter, you care, and that they are not alone.
Yes.
Love out loud is forever further for me. That when I get on here with my dudes, I tell them that I love them because that's why we're here. And that's the greatest gift that I can give them. And me as one person saying this out, I'm getting the love of 7 people plus as I do it.
Absolutely.
And every time I take this hand and open it up to give, I get back the love exponentially. And guess what? That's called living.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. That's why we do it.
Well, one thing, if you could see the number of heart emojis that have been flying up the whole time you've been talking about love, then you would know, and they're still coming. It's awesome. And that's such a great message, because that's what God put us here to do. God put us here to love each other, and that's what we're here to do. And I believe it. And this guy to the left of the screen here, for me at least, every time I talk to him, whether it be text, whether it be phone, whether it be whatever it is, that's how we start. We start and we end by saying, I love you. And that's my man, Anthony Mccauley. So, Anthony, how are you doing? You are, it's like coming home. You're on the call. You've been on this show before. Yeah. And first, I want to say this, everybody. Anthony is going through back surgery on Monday. And so we do need to all, as a Convene family, lift him up in prayer for Monday, to make sure that, we are praying for him as he goes into surgery. And we'll be putting things out, for it, Convene, just to make sure everybody knows. And we're thinking about you, Anthony. We want you to know that, man. But for those watching that don't know you, who is Anthony Mccullough?
Oh man, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna try to get through this, man, because I'm full right now of grace and mercy, and my voice is a little quivery right now because of my gratitude. I'm just, Matthew, thank you, man. Yeah. Chip, man, I'm telling you, my life, the last 7 months have been like in a boxing ring, man. And I've had the rope-a-dope going the whole time. I haven't, because if I let my hands down, I'm gonna get knocked out. So I just want to say thank you, man. And for those that don't know, I'm Anthony Mccauley. I'm the CEO and founder of Males of Distinction, Ladies of Merit Youth Organization here in my county. We are local, national, and global. I have found myself in a state of evolving, because I found out if I don't evolve, I'm going to evaporate. So I've continuously picked it up, and to my brothers, you welcome to my family, Convene. Matthew has, and the rest of the family has lifted me up. But when Chip Baker came in my life, it was a whole different story. My part of the book that I share, Matthew, you already know my personal story. And I see my family is chiming in. I don't even want to read right now, because I'm telling you, man, my heart is full right now. And it's a spiritual thing. And my part of the story, Matthew, I didn't want to tell. I had to call Chip and say, man, I don't want to do this again, man. Talking about this addictive behavior thing. I've been delivered, man. And he said, man, that's your story, man.
That is your story.
That's your story, man. And I hear DP talk about, I wore my kufi tonight because most people think, oh, he's a Muslim. No. My West African brothers have taught me a whole different meaning behind my kufi. It's peace. It's a father to many. It's a mentor. It's a sign of peace. And I love it. So I wore it tonight because I knew I was going to be with my brothers. But, man, I'm here to tell you, man, God has changed my life. Meeting people through Convene, meeting people, the impact of influence. My man TP, DP, Charles Woods, Jamal, Chip Baker. I got a host of authors around me now that, and Matthew, we talked about this tour that we're getting ready to be on. I don't know when it's coming in Charlotte, but the Impact Tour is on its way too.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful right now, man. And I thank you guys so much, man. My part of the story talks about falling on something that my body loved, cocaine. And I was a fool out there with it, okay? I have been delivered from it. I can tell my story now. And it's not conducive of my family that I came from. I came from a great family. There wasn't no abuse or none of that. My daddy told me not to turn left. Not only my biological daddy told me not to turn left, my heavenly father told me not to turn left very loud. I made a left turn for 30 years dealing with drugs and alcohol. And it took me down some roads that I didn't want to go down. My story in the book tells a little bit about Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde syndrome. Yeah, I made $80,000 a year. I made some great money, corporate positions, all to go in to work with residuals of the party night before on me and trying to play it off, faking the funk. Well, now I don't have to do none of that. I can be real and remove the mask and walk in an impact of influence and change somebody's life. I've been there firsthand, gutter experiences, walked around, stupid, acting the fool, but my heart goes out for anyone that's still out there dealing with it. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. These guys love you. There's a story in this book for each and every last one of you. And Matthew, I'm gonna get you to pass around an offering tray in a minute so we can take up an offering. And it's like, nah, I'm just grateful, man. I'm Anthony Mccauley. I got so many things going on. Kids, so many kids I've impacted. I've had some accomplishments in my life personally. I'm an FAA drone pilot. I like to tell people that because I love flying drones, man, and teaching kids how to fly drones and adults how to fly drones, just creating different streams of income and doing some things like that. Convene has allowed me to do a lot of that. A different place where you can go. And I'm hoping Matthew will tell you guys can go and join them for free after this. And we're going to have the Impact of Influence group there. And, you know, if you don't have a place where you can send out your content, we got you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, again, I'm hoping, I'm praying that the Impact of Influence group will be a big part of Convene. We already talked about, Melinda, I know you're watching, but we were already talking about the Impact of Influence Summit, putting a summit on based around the book. And, you know, that's
awesome,
what we love to do. We love to put on summits. I think that's just a great thing. Anthony, man, you know I love you like a brother, man. And your story is one of the things that makes you special. Your story and how you impact people is one of the things that makes you who you are. Unfortunately, we all have those stories. We all have that past, and how we take that past and how we decide to take all those degrees and how we decide to teach others is so important. Whatever that degree comes from, and sometimes it's a degree of hard knocks, right? And that's what we do. All right, I got one last person, Terrence. Let's hear about you.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Cut it out, man. Y'all would have to go behind my guy Anthony. He got me in tears over here, man. And, man, you can just really feel the passion, the love, the unity, the joy on this call. And Matthew and Chip, thank you guys so much for this opportunity. And to my brothers, man, I look forward to linking up with you guys real soon. And I'm always blessed and encouraged by everybody's story and testimony. But, man, I'm Terrence Price. Everybody calls me TP, but my mom and everybody back in the country call me Cabo. That's I guess country name, whatever. But man, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a believer of Christ, believer in Christ. I'm a friend. I love food. I love fellowship. I guess it's the country boy in me. I'm a sports chaplain. Been blessed to serve as sports chaplain at Texas A&M at WVU. And currently, at the moment, I'm serving on staff at our church here in the Morgantown, West Virginia area. My part in the book basically talks about how people see your glory, but they don't know your story. And just to share a quick synopsis of what that looks like is that, you know, I've always heard people talking about promise and, you know, walking into your season and what that looks like. But, you know, few people talk about the process. We talk about the mountaintop experiences. But as my brothers just shared in their stories about that process, what that looks like, that crushing, stress, all those things that prepare us for the moments for where we at for such a time as this. And so I just use some things that I've learned from some key people who have made a big impact in my life and had an influence in my life to share in my story so I can reach back to not just to the generation behind me, but to the generation before me. Because a lot of people think that you have arrived just like overnight. People don't realize that it's come with stress, and as my brother talked about it, the multiple degrees, the betrayals, the setbacks, the disappointments, the valley experiences. But you learn more about not only who you are, but you learn more about who God is in those setbacks and those disappointments. And it has made us all pretty the men you see before today on this call. So I just briefly talked about what that process looks like as we are trying to obtain the promise and walk into our season.
Yeah, man, I love that. I do. I love it. Let me share one thing about Convene and about me. Right. If I see that painting behind me, there's one thing on there that you may not see, but you'll see it as soon as I point it out, and it's a true story. So this lady who did this painting, she was a high school uh, friend of my brother's, one of my older brothers, and I noticed that she lived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, on Instagram. And I noticed it because she paints these crosses that look a lot like that. And I love the crosses. I thought they were awesome, but I contacted her and I said, Robin, I said, can you paint me a emblem, the Convene emblem? You know, you can see it. So that's exactly what that is up there. And so she did. And when I got out of the car to meet her, I met her at a grocery store, and I got out of the car. She goes, Matt, and she goes, Matt, I got to tell you a story. I got to tell you something that happened. She said, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is you're doing, you have to keep doing it. And so you see this right here. So she said she was throwing paint on the painting. You see it's a bunch of splotches. And she said this glob of black paint left her paintbrush. And she thought in her mind, I've messed up. I'm getting ready to have to fix this big black glob. It's going to hit the thing and it's going to just go everywhere. She said, Matt, that black paint hit the canvas in a cross. She said, hit it in a cross. And she said, I don't know how it happened, why it went into a cross. And there's other paint over top the cross now, but she said it went into a cross. She said, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yes.
And so what I think from that is I'm lucky enough to sit in this seat and have guys like you come on and share your stories. And what is so perfect about that is your stories are making such a difference in people's lives. You're working with youth, your teachers, your educators, your administrators, you know, everybody here is making a difference in youth lives. So I want y'all to talk about why is that so important? And then I also want to ask you the question, and I want y'all to fold it in here amongst yourselves. What are you seeing with COVID right now? Because I'm seeing a bunch of kids that are struggling on the daily. And I think it's really hard, and it's up to us to make such a difference in people's lives. So y'all just kick that around a little bit and talk about why it's so important for us to pour into people with our stories and who we are and make a difference, because we don't want them to earn all those college degrees.
That's right.
I think it's important from the first levels that there's always, and I always hear my guy C. Woods talk about this, there's already enough negativity in the world pertaining to when you turn on the TV. You ain't got to turn on the TV, man. You can get a text, you can get a phone call, just something to kind of disturb your day. But I think how the vision of Chip behind this project is that how we all have been in a situation where we, have been around negative people, we've been around positive people, and we've learned that being around negative people, as our guy John Gordon talks about, it's like being around energy vampires. And I don't know about you guys, but I thank God for technology that when somebody calls, you have the option of to accept and reject the call. Because your day could be flowing so good, and you'd be like, oh man, here come this person. But you have the option to be like, hey, no, this is not the time, not the moment, because I know pretty much what they're going to talk about. But I just think that there's enough negatives in the world, but I just believe that God has brought all of us together. Man, it's almost like watching like a Marvel comic movie, man, how all of us have these different superpowers, and we're coming together to unite for one purpose. And just think about the movie Drumline, when it talks about one band, it talks about one sound. And I just think in this group, we're all on different levels. We all have different stories. Their stories may not look like my story. And so you got a whole group of powerful men. There's no jealousy, there's no animosity, there's no hating, there's no betrayal, there's no backbiting. And I think that this is something that the world needs to see, how men come from all backgrounds or walks of life, different colors, race, creed, background, how we can come together make a positive impact, in which I think in this pivotal time in our country, not just our country, but our world needs to see us coming together. And man, I just have to say, in Psalms, it talks about how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And then the Bible also says that where there's unity, that God commands a blessing. So I believe that God is going to not only command a blessing upon us, but upon others who's going to read our story through this book, the impact of influence. And so I think by the COVID situation as well, too, there's a lot of people struggling. We'll just be honest and be real. Some people have lost loved ones. Some people, loved ones are on ventilators right now. We pray and we believe God for miracles and different things. But I just really believe that there's going to be somebody who's affected by COVID, or there may be somebody in the hospital. There may be somebody who may be getting ready to go into a storm that will read this book and just have some wisdom, some positive nuggets to be like, hey, you know what? If God can bring Chaz out, if he can bring C. Woods out, if he can bring Mr. Me Too out, then he can bring me out. He can help me through this situation. And so I just think that it's all about coming together, the spirit of unity, and just working together because the world needs to see this at a pivotal time right now.
Yeah. Who's next?
Hey, Matt. I'm gonna ask Terrence to share this story with you guys. It's a pretty good one about the friend that he has that he found out from playing spades.
You want me to tell the story about spades?
Yeah, tell him about the story, because I think it aligns with the why.
Yeah.
Right. So hit him with that story.
A couple of years ago, man, I was sharing with Chip that I was introduced to a game called Spades, and I, played Battle, played all those things. And I know Uno is not part of those card games, but I played all those things. Played dominoes. And man, when we get together, guys, somebody got to bring the dominoes. And I'm trying to put 15 or 20 on somebody real quick, man. But I was introduced to a game called Spades, and it was me, my partner across the table, and the guy on each side of me. And as the card handler began to dish out cards upon the table, and I began to look at my hand immediately before the game can start. A grown man like me got down and been like, man, we're going to get roasted. We're going to get blasted, because I hadn't played spades before, but I knew the queen, the jack, the ace, the spade, the club, all those things. And so as we got ready to get to play, and I'm just still like, man, just like sullen, just almost about to be negative for a quick second. But I forgot that I had a partner on the other side of the table. And my partner winked at me and said, hey, man, you know what? I got you. And so through that story, I was able to share from that experience. The wisdom nugget of that is that no matter the hand that we're dealt in life, no matter the circumstances that's on our plate, no matter the things that we're going through, is that we have a partner that's sitting at the other side of the table with us. And that partner's name is Jesus Christ. There to help us with anything. He said he would never leave us. He would never forsake us. He said, no weapon that's formed against you will be able to prosper. He said, I'm more for you than the whole world that is against you. So all we have to do is to trust in him and know that his perfect plan will be filled in his appointed time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, that's it for tonight. We're going to sign off. I appreciate everybody being here. Aaron just closed us down.
TP.
No, man.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You know what? I think often in life is, people, we go through ups and downs. Life is full of ups and downs, lefts and rights, high, things that are good days and bad days. And when you're at your low, you always have somebody to turn to, like what Terrence just said, but you also have each other to turn to, right? That you can call on and say, hey, I'm having a rough day, and that's so important. And it's so important to have positive mentor. And that's what, right? That you can call on. That's Anthony. That's funny. You didn't hide that well, Anthony. That's funny. So this book, I mean, again, Chip, why this book? Why this book right now?
So for me, when you say why is it important? I look at just the experience for us to be on the call here, and all of the amazing men, all of the experiences that we've been blessed to have, all of the lessons that we've learned all of the things that we're striving to give to others, right? And that's not just us, but then it's a total of 17 guys in the book with the same, right? And so why wouldn't you not want to learn from all of those guys?
Yeah.
I think, for me, just a little secret on myself, like I keep a notebook just for the sessions that we have together so that I can write down and take notes so that I can learn.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I'm just excited for the world to get to hear from these amazing men, because as we share our lessons that we learn, it allows the world, the readers, the people that we come in contact with to move more efficiently and effectively. And then now they can go make a positive impact on the world. So really it's the ripple effect, right? But hold on, let me go deeper, Matt. Okay, we're here because somebody had a positive impact on our life.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's the why. But then when you look at COVID, I agree with what Terrence is saying. I think even before COVID, I think we all are broken.
Yeah.
If you want to make assumptions, the assumption is none of us is perfect and we're all broken.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And so when you throw COVID in there, it really, throws it for a loop because we're more broken,
Yeah.
I guess, but that's why it's important for us to do things like this, so that we can help one another grow through those challenging moments, not go through, but grow through those challenging moments and have one another's back. So that's for me is the why, and then the COVID point.
And I know a platform, Chip. I know a platform where everybody can get involved. I'm just going to throw that out.
Come on now.
A real good one. And I think people may even convene in that community.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
we're going right there. Chip just in the.
Hey, I think people may even convene in that community.
That's right. And after we're together and we want to come back together, they might reconvene in that community.
Come on. Let's go.
Come on, man. But look, I can say that why is Matthew and the rest of my fellas. My why for me is I don't ever want to see anybody go through what I've been through. And for me, some stories. I have some young men and young ladies too, but I more so deal with the young men. I have ladies who deal with the young ladies, because the way society is now, you have to, even though I'm a father figure of love or whatever, society messes it up when they see that. But anyway, I can take a young man and pour into him. And I had a group of young men when I first started this organization. And at the end of each session, I would say, guys, we get in the huddle. And I said, man, I love you guys, man. There's nothing you can do about it. So one of the young men said, why, that don't sound right, man. Why you keep telling us you love us all the time? So I said, teaching moment, ding, ding, ding. Everybody sit down. So I told them, why, look, man, I may never see you guys again. You may never see me again. At least you can know Mr. Anthony told me he loved me. Then through that, why, I would have fathers who may be getting out incarcerated and come to me, oh, you can't pour into my son, man. I'll do that. Well, you know what? I need you to help me with your son. So I've even had the fathers of these young men come and join me in the group. Matter of fact, one of the fathers right now still tells me, man, you my mentor, man. I didn't know I used to come to your meeting. Sometimes the mother wouldn't bring the son, but the dad would show up. So that's my why, to keep doing that. And now I met with 5. I chose 5 of my boys because I couldn't meet with them because of the COVID thing or whatever. So I gathered with them and we did a social distance thing. They have matured. Some of them are taller than me. Their voices have changed, and they were telling me things that I said, what kind of mindset you guys have? They said, we got a growth mindset. I said, where did that come from? Well, you told us in the group about growth mindset and fixed mindset. So just when I think it wasn't sticking, it was sticking, And even during COVID, I had those guys in the session say, look, what's on your mind? Everybody's kicking all this virtual to you. You got virtual school and all this stuff. How's your mindset? Have any of you guys had any weird feelings or thoughts of maybe some. I know the suicide rate is up among teens and drug use. What's going on? And they were open and honest. And Mr. Anthony, thank you. You always kick it with us real. You always tell us. And some of the boys said, I thought about it because this is tough thing. It's tough. And they're not there. Some of them are failing. And they would rather be in a school setting where they could be around their peers all day. But that's changing. So I encourage them. Just meeting with those 5 boys was my why. I cried with them. He's like, Mr. Anthony, don't cry, man. You crying again? So it was so, and then on top of COVID, I'm sick and tired of it, man.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of it. I won't be defeated by it. I've dealt with COVID. I'm a survivor of COVID. I lost my wife 7 months ago, and it wasn't the COVID. DP, you talk about them blood clots. This is what happened to my wife. Those blood clots moved and shifted, and they took her out. But thank God I'm a survivor. Like I said, I still got my hands up the moment I drop them. When I was trying to box one time, Chip Baker, my daddy put me on the boxing ring, and I dropped my hands. Dude knocked me smooth out, man. When I was 15 years old, and I learned then, don't drop your hands.
Yep.
Don't keep your hands up, because the moment you drop your hands and I see your pupils, I'm gonna knock you out. And that's how life is. So, but right now with COVID, I'm sick and tired of it, and it's got to go.
Well, one of the big reasons I brought that up is I was talking to one of our favorite people in the world the other day, Anthony, Patti Muller.
Yes.
And we were just talking about everything that's going on. She's a mental health counselor, and we were talking about somebody that she knows who normally carries a workload of kids that she counsels, normally carries a workload of 12 people, right? And she's up to 24, but that's not even the real thing. She has 42 files sitting on her desk.
Wow.
42 of youth that need to see her and need a counselor. Never, and my wife is a pediatric nurse at Wake Forest Baptist University. Never before has she seen the types of things that are going on. And that's why I ask it, because all of you work with youth, and mentor youth. And so, what are you seeing? It's not necessarily about, it's just what's going on. How can we stay and be that positive influence, that positive mentor inside of this? So, hey, we got Derek and Jamal and Charles, y'all jump in on that. Let's hear what you have to think on y'all's why. Why do you really do what you do?
Well, when you dig down off into it, man, I'm a big person that believes in that positivity. But also on the other end of that is we can't let each scholar make excuses. That's what you hear a lot of, excuses why I cannot. And it's time for us to show them the path of why they can, and it's work every day, because they do come with those excuses why they cannot do it. I like to use my story when I'm talking to young men and women just about what I went through and why I didn't let those things defeat me. At home, both of my parents were addicts. Might come home with no dinner, no electricity, no water. You come to a dark box, you know, um, couldn't wait to wake up in the morning to get out of that box to go to school. And school was my sanctuary where I got away from everything. And it giving me a guide, it helping me using athletics, using the school system to further my education and not looking back. I cannot go back home once I hit a college campus. I cannot go back home. I don't have that to go back to. I have nothing but to move forward. I cannot go back. So, just every day, just trying to help you realize that they have the power, they have a chance, they have an opportunity to build something out of the negativity, out of the struggles that they see at home, that they have a chance with this education to do something positive for their life. Just seeing the light outside of that, and focus on the positive things that are going on. I know that it's rough at home on some instances, but we have people on campus that they can talk to, that they can confide in, that they can let some of that anger go, some of those frustrations go. When I first got into education, it was naive of me to think that the parent just doesn't care, or this parent just not doing, this parent is not there. You know, when you look at it, we have some situations where they are single parent homes. Mom is
Just
doing
can't be
everything she
there.
can. Exactly. Daddy's holding down 2 jobs and can't do it. You know, or grandmother's taking care because parents are gone for whatever reason. You know, it's we're a valuable part of a community to help the youth grow and to become good citizens, and not only on campus but in the community. You know, just helping them live with life and just showing them, you know, you have to work with each other to grow and to be better, man. My why just goes on, man. Just all the things that we go through every day on campus. I could sit here and talk for hours just about what happened on campus today, you know, and every day is different. And you got to be prepared. Like I always say, I got to be prepared rolling in that door with a smile on my face and positive energy pouring out of my body so I can support those kids, man. My why are, you know, every day of the day, every night is the kids. You
Yeah.
know, that's what gets me going. That's what energizes me. That's what keeps me moving.
Hey, Matthew, I know we got to get to the other two guys, but there's a guy I want to share this quote with you. There's a guy that I follow, man, really good speaker, powerful guy. And once I say the quote, some of you guys may know, have heard of him before, but he says, "My why is bigger than my why not."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh wait, that's Jamal. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So, man, it's those degrees. Those degrees are my why. Growing up, without my dad, growing up, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, West Side. Transitioned to Indiana, picked up basketball, and basketball changed my life. And I want people to know that when you find something that you love and that you love and that you're passionate about, if you put the time into it, whatever you give to it, it will give back to you. And so I focus my energy, focus everything on how do I move from here? Because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of where I'm at. How do I change this? And if mama and them not gonna change it, then that means I got to. And so that is a quote of mine, and I live by it. My why, and I use the greater than sign. So I have my why is greater than my why not. And for me, I call myself Mr. Me Too because of all of those lived experiences. I've been a correctional worker. I've worked in mental health. I've worked at non-for-profits. So I have a servant heart, and I'm all about giving and helping people. And typically people, young and old, will have conversations with me as they're sharing their stories. I oftentimes found myself saying, guess what, me too.
Yeah.
And that's where the name came from. But what I will and won't do is I will empathize with your story, but I'm not gonna let you off the hook. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I get it. Yeah, okay, your daddy not there. Yeah, mom and them. I get all of that. But you have to be responsible for your life, and you have to make the. I just got done with a book by Tom Newberry called "Success Is Not an Accident," and he says if you change your choices, you can change your life. And so I force people and I hold people accountable to being responsible for it. I want to see how sick and tired you really are. Prove it. Here's what we're going to do. You say you want this, here's what you need to do to get that. And I hold them accountable to that. And what I realized was God has a purpose for all of us. It's bigger and larger than our failures. It's greater than our mistakes. And what I've learned about myself is that I mastered the art of resilience. And because I don't bounce back, I bounce forward. And that's what I teach people to do. Because if you just bounce back, you only bounce back to the thing that knocks you back down.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And I was a repeat offender. Hey, I would bump my head and I would bump my head. Well, you know what, Jamal? At some point, you got to learn from this obstacle. You got to learn from this situation. And so the minute that I recognize that and I learn from it, I begin to bounce forward. And that's when my life changed. Just to bounce back, you're going to stay stuck. And I got tired of living in a place called stuck. I wanted to live. I wanted to enjoy life. And so once I began to bounce forward, Man, the sky, I won't even say the sky was the limit because I got outside my box.
Yeah.
And living outside the box is so much better than living in the box. So much better.
Wow.
And then just real quick on the COVID thing. So it affected me like everybody else. I was impacted. I was paralyzed for about 2 months. I'm like, what is this? I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. And then I said, man, you know what, man? We as people sit around and we murmur and complain about this thing called time. We say that we can never get it back. But somehow God in his great power and in his infinite wisdom, he gave us time back.
Yeah.
Because you don't got to take the kids to practice. You don't got to be over here or be over there. You at home. And so now you can take that class that you've been saying you're going to take for the last 3 or 4 years. You can go back. You wanted to be a master piano player, or you wanted to learn how to play the guitar. You wanted to learn how to bake, or you wanted to learn how to sew. You can do all of those things now because of COVID. And so I put a spin on it. I gave it an extra D, and so it's COVID. And for me, it means it's a clear opportunity to visualize in detail your dreams.
That's why.
Yeah,
That's why. That's why.
Yeah.
I like that right there. Whew. Man, that's good. Ooh. Well,
Hit him again with it, Jamal. One more time.
Yeah, set
Clear
up.
opportunity.
COVID is COVID. It's a clear opportunity to visualize in detail your dreams.
Look at this.
And then for the 19 in the Bible means faith. And so you got to believe.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Well, Derek, we brought it to you really before we get back to Chip. We brought it to you because you got the wisdom. So let's hear it, and the love. So
See, Chip knows me, and Chip knows how I get out.
It's on.
You asked me to tie it together, so get your ribbon. Let's make a nice little bow in it. See, my reason why is remember that story of asking God for one more day. Well, today, I'm the old head in the room. See, I was born in 1962. Today, I am 21,411 days old, and it's the only one I get. See, I asked for one more day. And see, when I get up, I wake up hungry every day. Everything's new. I have knowledge and wisdom, but everything's new because I either learned from it yesterday or I'm supposed to learn from it today so I can use it today. See, I met y'all today so that we can do this. I will be better. You will be better. We will be better today. And here's the other part. I'm hungry because I came here to eat. See, I need to eat today. And those lessons that y'all feeding me, that's my why. See, today is my why. It's the only one I get. And if I disrespect it, I don't get another. See, if I don't pay attention to the crossroad and the GPS, see, my day starts from beginning in love. I wake up and I thank the Lord, the universe, for giving me one more day. And then with that, I better go. And on my GPS, all that's on my GPS is love. All the way there is love. Each thing is love. Each person is love. Each opportunity is love. And the beauty of a GPS is I can look back at the GPS and see love if I did it right. I can look forward and see love because I did it right. And at the end of the day, what we all aspire to is 2 words that tell us everything. Well done. Well done. Well done. It's day 21,411. It's dark here in Lincoln, Nebraska. When I lay my head to sleep tonight, I'll take a deep breath. I'll smile. I'll say, well done. And I'll say, give me one more day.
Let's go. Let's go. Man,
That's the ball.
let's go.
Yeah.
See, it was meant to come around to that right there.
Yeah.
Like I knew what I was doing. Come on now.
You're good. You're good at what you do, Matthew. You're good at what you do, man.
Yeah. Well, Chip,
Yes,
you're
sir.
a mastermind to bring together these men and to bring together these people that can have the influence on others. And they have the influence on others because of their story, because of their real life, real people with real experiences. And that's really what it's all about. It's about, again, like we started at the beginning, it's about taking our lives, the thing we've done good, the things we've done bad, and not allowing others to walk down that road and make mistakes, but also to tell people to walk down this road and make it a positive impact if we've done things that are good. One, again, just cover how can people get a hold of this book, the places that you are going to be. I know you put it in the chat, but I just want you to talk about that real quick. We will be having a summit. We're going to do a summit on this. This is great. I've enjoyed it, but I don't feel like I have had the opportunity to have enough time with each of you individually. I think a summit will allow us to really kind of make that impact and do that, you know, and tell everybody's story more in depth. So go ahead. I'll just turn the floor over to you.
Well, again, I want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be on your amazing platform and to discuss life and the impact with you and your audience. And for that, you know, you didn't have to do that. You guys didn't have to set that up, but we truly appreciate that. And so the next thing is, you know, as far as the book, you know, we're launching it. We're having a launch party on March 27th. And so, you know, we ask that, you know, you guys come, you know, help us celebrate to launch it. We're going to do our bestseller run March 27th. And all of us will have the links to that on our social medias. And then as far as purchasing the book, you know, I ask that, you know, you hear the amazing men. I ask that you just go support them. You know, go check out, you know, their social medias because each one of those guys are doing great things. And so each one of them will have their online store site that you can purchase a signed copy from that author. And I just ask that you do that. And then the places as far as the book tour, oh man, so excited about this. So just a rundown of the tour, we're going to be in Dallas, April 10th, May 1st, Woodlands, Texas, May 15th, Salt Lake City, Utah, the 29th, El Paso, 6-4, the DMV area, 6-12 in Indy with Jamal. We'll be out there with him. In 6-15, 6-16 coming your way. Coming out there.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to hang out with you guys. 6-22 going to Tampa, Florida, and 7-9 will be in Denver, Colorado. So really just excited to get out and about, spread the positive word. And I'll leave with this quote. And this is the quote that I start my chapter with. The impact we make on others can be felt for generations. It creates an everlasting ripple effect that influences many. And that's what it's all about. That's why we do what we do. That's why we know that, like I said earlier, we understand that it ain't about us. It's not about us. No, it ain't about us. It ain't about me. Right? And we know that we're blessed to be a blessing. And so just truly grateful again for the opportunity to do it. I'm thankful that these guys think highly enough of me to be on this great journey with me. So let's go get it, baby.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, look, we're up at the hour, 9 o'clock. That was a quick hour. Hey, I look forward, Anthony, we'll get your book link and we'll share that on Convene Communities for sure. We'll get that to Melinda. But look, let's get this impact, this summit together. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it'll be great. Again, as always, Stezo, thanks for everything you do in the background there. And we'll be back next week. But in the meantime, y'all go out and have a great week, impact lives, and continue doing the great things that y'all do. I've enjoyed this hour. It's been wonderful. So thanks a lot. Stezo, take us away.
Go get it.
Go get it.